welcome to the Late Night Snacking Podcast.
We're your hosts, Devin and Anita, and this is our weekly podcast where we grab a blanket and some snacks and talk about all things relationships, growing pains, and navigating through, honestly, life itself.
We hope our experiences encourage others to grow to become the best versions of themselves, and for their relationships. Grab a snack and let's go! What is up, snackers?
What's going on?
Woo!
And we're here on
Welcome
another
back to the pod.
beautiful Wednesday. The Late Night Snacking Podcast. The most honest podcast. The most open podcast. And the most wholesome podcast in the world.
Love to see it. I hope y'all missed us last week. Sorry we did not have an episode for y'all. We did
Had to
drop
hit
a
y'all boys with a vlog though.
We did hit y'all with a vlog. Yeah, if you haven't watched it, go check that out. It was fun. We got to do a game night. That's kind of what game night looks like in our house anyway. We just kind of propped up the camera and went with it, so that was kind of fun. Y'all asked some fun Q&A questions, so yeah, if you didn't tap into that, make sure you go ahead and do that. But
some good questions too. Very interesting.
Especially that last one. If you know, you know. Anyways, welcome back to the pod. What's been going on with us? What's the... What are the vibes been like? Busy.
Yeah. I was just about to say that, like, it never ends.
It really doesn't, y'all. This past weekend was the first time, I think, in, like, maybe, like, 7-ish weeks in a row that...
We've been able to
like,
stay at home.
Stay home, yeah, and sit down. So, that was good. But we're right back at it next week.
Yep.
Get a small moment to breathe and then it disappears. But yeah, so we've been busy. What else has been?
Getting ready. Well, preparing for Hendrix, the dog.
Yeah, we ordered him a little collar with his name on it and stuff. So yeah, this month is pretty much just in preparation of getting him. We're struggling right now because we're trying to find somewhere in our house that makes sense to put him in. It could potentially be this area that we are recording in. Possibly. Another option is to put him like in our dining room area, but like it's more spacious than this area, but then it's kind of like, do we want the dog that close to the kitchen? Yeah. So I don't know. It's like, we're trying to figure it out. So, but yeah, it's just been kind of prepping for him. But other than that, you have an event coming up this weekend. Would you like to plug it?
Yeah. We'll be hosting Highway 96, a Charlotte takeover at Ibiza in Greenville. So follow the Organic Boys page, and all the updates are there, the flyers there, and all that information. T-shirts will be on deck, and we may be giving out some oranges. You know,
some oranges.
Yeah, some oranges, just for the hell of it.
I thought I saw that on the story, but I wasn't too sure where y'all were going with that.
You gotta have a little bit. You gotta have the balance. If we're gonna have alcohol, then we gotta have some oranges too.
Okay, so come out and get your vitamin C on. What's better than that?
Right.
Nothing. But yeah, that's really it. Why do I feel like we've had more stuff going on? I don't know. Also, tonight, while I'm talking, because y'all know I like to talk with my hands, I'm aware that my pointer fingernail is non-existent right now. So, don't point it out to me because I know. And ladies, you feel me on this. It really hurts when you break a nail. So just let me mourn the loss of the nail and the actual physical pain that I felt while losing the nail. So I think that is it. I don't think we have anything else new going on.
Wedding updates.
Nothing.
You finally kind of get to chill out for a minute.
Kind of. We don't have it. Our big update was that we found the venue. So now that we've found the venue, now it's a matter of everything that goes into the venue. So we're kind of looking into like food catering stuff. So actually, any of our Greenville listeners, if y'all know anybody that has deals on anything like that, let us know. We chose our wedding party.
Oh, yeah.
Or parties. So I have my little bride tribe, as they call them, and
The bride tribe.
yeah, that's what they call it in the social media world. The bride tribe. My biddies is what I call them. But yeah, so shout out to Cicely and Demetria and Jessica and Alicia and Anaya. Those are my girly pops.
And shout out to the members.
The gang members.
Greg, Nate, Thomas, Ramonce, and Braden. My cousin Braden. So shout out to them.
Love to see it. So, yeah, we're making small but strong strides. Because y'all have to remember, we're still like more than a year out from this. So we have
Still
time.
have a while.
Yeah, we have time. We're not trying to rush. We're trying to literally just take it like month by month with things that we have to get done during that month. So not too stressed. But yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, we are officially. Okay. I cannot talk today. We are officially in April, meaning my birthday is next month. If y'all have been following me on Instagram for a while, which a lot of y'all are OG followers for the _Neaters account, I do a countdown every year to Neat a Day. So join me and stay tuned because I like to post like little birthday moods, and like usually that includes a lot of memes of fellow friends. So stay tuned to see if you make the story countdown this year. No one is safe.
Ooh, spooky.
It's really like my favorite thing to do. Like I said, if you've been following me for a while, you know that every year like I come with a countdown to my birthday because it's like a national holiday. So I think that is it for real this time.
Yeah. Snacks. Caught lacking.
Yeah.
I got a little dry cereal. You know what I'm saying? The Honey Nut Cheerios. Mm-hmm. Got to get that fiber in.
Oof. Might need to end the show a little bit early then, just in case.
I know.
Okay. I don't have a snack with me right now. I'm just not hungry, to be honest. I did eat dinner, though, so this is not a cry for help. I do eat. I just not really hungry for a snack right now. But, yeah. Cool. I kind of want to just hop into the topic today, if we can.
Let's do it.
Only because this is, I feel like I say this every week, but this is really a good one. It's talked about in social media a lot. It's actually a social media phrase, heavily influenced by social media. So it's just a really hot topic to touch on. And that is, if he wanted to, he would. Oh boy. Yeah. We gotta go ahead and get. Oh my God. We gotta go ahead and just get into this one because we have thoughts on this. Okay. So, firstly, for my, I guess, maybe seasoned listeners, or for those who aren't heavily on social media as far as like, you know, relationship posts and like TikTok and reels and things like that. If you're not really into that, this may be like a new phrase to you, but more than likely you've heard this phrase. So it really just has to do with like, if he really wanted to put the time and effort into you, he would. Like, that's pretty much what the phrase is saying. Would you interpret it that way as well, or do you have your own interpretation of it? It's pretty much what it is.
Roughly, that's what it means.
Yeah. So, for example of things that, I mean, at least I've seen in the media, I don't know if our algorithms aren't the same, so
Yeah.
I don't know what you've seen regarding this, but as far as me, a lot of it is just like small or large gestures from either somebody that you're starting to date or somebody that you have been dating, pretty much just giving extra effort to you, and you usually like post about it or whatever. It could be like, oh, he flew me out, or like something big like that, or something small where it's like, oh, he knows that I get up after him, so every morning he makes me breakfast before he goes to work, or something like that. And then it's like, if he wanted to, ladies, like he really would, or something like that. So those are just like a couple of examples. This is where things blow it out of proportion. Is when people in the comments start being like, oh, well, now I'm mad at my boyfriend because he doesn't do this for me. Or I need to leave my partner because they're not doing this. Or, wow, he must really not want me then if he's not doing this, and stuff like that. And like people absolutely spiral
Bruh,
from
toxic.
these
Toxic.
from these videos and TikToks and Reels and things like that. So that's pretty much the premise of what it is. What are your initial thoughts before kind of diving into maybe some of the problems with this? Any thoughts about this phrase coming from like a male perspective?
I mean, I get it. Like, I understand where like it stems from.
Yeah.
But if you're just, bringing this up out of left field, like you said, because you've seen something on TikTok or Instagram of where, another guy did something for somebody else, there's your first issue. Because it's like, why are you monitoring that so much, and then you want to, like, I guess, mock that? Like, you kind of expect the same thing when that may not even be your love language in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's very different for everybody. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's being generalized as if like everybody loves the same, everybody accepts loves the same way.
Yeah.
So if, because I got a huge gift, if your boyfriend doesn't love you, he's not going to get you a large. Like,
Yeah.
that's lame. Like, come on, bro. That's not even fair.
Yeah.
It's not even the same thing.
Yeah. I think something you hit on was like, why are you monitoring this even if it's not like the way you want to be loved? It's just because you see somebody else do it. Like, it's like a need that comes out of nowhere. Like, this was never an issue until you saw this.
Until you saw it, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I saw one literally, I think like yesterday, scrolling on TikTok or whatever. What I don't remember exactly what the girl was talking about, but she was pretty much just saying like all the nice things that her boyfriend does for her, which is awesome. Somebody in the comments was like, I'm literally leaving my husband because of you. Thank you for showing me that like I deserve to be loved better.
See, like, that's wild.
Yes.
That's very chaotic.
Yes. Yes. Like, she was literally like, I deserve better than this. Like, thank you for showing me that like a love like this exists, and like this is what I deserve, type thing. And like, oh boy.
Crazy thing is, you're not even guaranteed to find that for real.
And it's like,
and then what do you provide? Like, this, like,
complex.
how I look at that is, and it's not for all women or whatever, but for women to want so much, it's like, bro, you have to show me something. Like, I'm not just going to be willingly just doing all this, going over and beyond just because you're a woman. Like, that's not fair.
I agree. I think both parties have to bring something to the table. And of
Right.
course, we don't know. The dangerous thing is like, you don't know the dynamic of the person that's showing you this or the person that's talking behind the camera You don't know that dynamic of her and her partner. Maybe they literally just got out of a 3-year rut of him not doing shit for her.
Right.
And now he's trying to like make amends and like come back. Sometimes things like that happen in a cycle where your partner like does it for a little while and then falls off the bandwagon. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know the complexity of this person's relationship. So to take advice from something that's so one-sided like that is like wild. Like, when I read that comment, I was like, leaving your husband because this one girl talks about her relationship with her boyfriend, saying she deserves better.
Like, you finna leave your husband
Based on
over
somebody else's...
something that somebody on the internet who you don't know said.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. As far as like her feeling like she deserves better, sure. But basing it off of what you see online, saying, oh, I deserve that, so I'm going to leave you because you don't give me that. Like, just really think about that. Like, so kind of one of the first things I want to talk about as far as like, because we're going to go into a few reasons why we think this is like a dangerous piece of advice, because like it is a very prevalent piece of advice in the dating world, whether you are actually dating somebody, in a relationship with somebody, just pursuing somebody. This whole if he wanted to he would thing, like, people will not shut up about this. Like, it's all over the place. So
it's ongoing.
It is. So few reasons why we think it's like maybe not the best piece of advice, the kind of dangerous pieces of it. One of them is just what we were talking about, this comparison game. I think that is the worst thing you can do for your relationship, is to compare it to somebody else's.
Yeah.
And not even just your relationship, like comparing your partner to somebody else is like
the worst.
It really is, because now you're setting like a certain insecurity into your partner where it's like, well, this is what I think is good and you're not here. So it's almost like telling your partner like, you suck.
Yeah.
Like, because you're not like this guy on the internet that makes breakfast for his girlfriend every morning. Like, your partner does not suck because they don't make breakfast for you every morning.
That's a very selfish way of thinking.
I just want people. Now, is it nice if your partner made breakfast for you every morning? Sure.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's awesome. It's like, your partner doesn't suck as a person though if they don't do that every morning. Or if that's something that you want, then state, hey, you know, it'd be nice if you could some mornings. Could you wake up a little bit before me and like make me breakfast just to like make my morning a little bit easier? Like, I make you dinner most of the time, so like, can you help out in that area? And like, you know, it'd be nice. Like, it'd be a sweet gesture. That is a better approach to the conversation than
much better.
Yeah, so this guy on the internet, he wakes up every morning and makes her breakfast. What do you do for me? You never do that. Like, the whole comparison thing is such a dangerous...
If you wanted to, you would.
Yeah. If you really wanted me, you would do that.
Sickening.
Yeah, I think the comparison thing is one of the main issues with this statement, with the social media. What else do you think?
As a guy,
yeah,
like, the first thing I ask is like, where is this even coming from? Mm-hmm. Like, what's the root of this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, is it a true statement? Because for some things, like, if you wanted to, then you would. Like, that can be validated in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? And that just comes from, like, something as simple as, like, talking nicely to your partner. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for you to be calling him or her, like, out of their name. Like, just going over and beyond to be, like, mean to him or whatever. Like, that's one of the situations where, like, if you're just a jerk, then yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if you wanted to be nice, then you would. Like,
yeah.
But that's common decency. And then, like, what's the problem? And I guess, what am I not doing to make my partner feel like this?
Yeah.
Or just some things to, consider.
Yeah.
I know for guys anyway. For me, those are top two things that I look at. Like, where is this coming from? And like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what am I not doing that you need me to do?
So to kind of like piggyback on that, as far as like something that I also think is dangerous is just like what he's saying is like, when you come to your partner like that, where it's like, oh, I saw this and like, you're not doing this for me, but like he'll do this for his girlfriend. Like, am I not worthy enough for you to like do that for me? And then it kind of makes him be like, well, where the hell is this even coming from? Like, what do you mean? Like,
right, this is so so left field.
It makes your partner feel like they don't love you or like care about you and stuff like that, when that's not really the case. Like, I think so to put a pause on the whole, why is this dangerous? I think a lot of people equate effort, and we were going to talk about this for a topic, which we still might.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people equate effort
and time
and love like on the same thing. Like, people think that's equal. Like, well, if you loved me this much, then you would put this much effort into me. If your effort level is here, you don't give a shit about me. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people put those two hand in hand, which is fair. But it's not always like that. And the thing about effort that is so complex is like, it can be fixed. Like, effort is not one of those things where it's like, oh, well, he's just this way. Like, no, like if you really wanted more from your partner and then you talk to them about like, hey, these are areas where I think you could step up more, or like, I would really appreciate if you did XYZ, and your partner actually puts in the effort to do that, then I think it's valid of the whole, if he wanted to, he would, because you've expressed it, you've said it. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a left field thing. This is something you've been talking to your partner about, places they can step up, places they can do more. You've had conversations about it. Mm-hmm. Then I think the statement is valid in that sense because it's been discussed. Yeah. So
there's some context behind it.
There's context, and like, if your partner is actually putting in the work to like match what you're saying, then that is like, if he really did want to like do what you're asking and like please you and make you happy, then he would. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's where it's valid. I think where it's invalid is what we're talking about, as far as like, you saw something on the internet, this was never brought up to your partner, you've never talked about wanting breakfast in the morning before you go to work, and now you're upset with him over a hypothetical situation that you've made up in your head because of something that you've seen or advice that is being given to you online. You know what I mean? Another thing that I think makes it kind of dangerous is the more like larger gestures, where I think sometimes it gives people like unrealistic expectations for like relationships and stuff like that, especially with the social media world. Like, y'all have to realize that a lot of that stuff is not real. Like,
a lot of it is very fake.
It's not real. And you have to think, like, unless people are like posting bloopers and stuff, like, people are always going to put their best foot forward when it comes to like content, and like, especially if you're monetizing off of that content. Absolutely. We're putting on a smile and we're going. Like, act like you like me today. Give me a kiss. Like, you don't know what these couples are actually going through behind closed doors. You don't know what conversations they've had with each other. Like, you don't know their lives. So I think when these couples do like large gestures and like, I don't know, like, I don't know, like your partner writing you a letter about how much they love you every day, whatever. Like, some people may put content online that is like, oh my gosh, like, my boyfriend, he writes me a letter every day, or like, he buys me flowers every day so they never die, or whatever the case may be. girls really think that because their partner doesn't do that, that they don't love them. And like, this is where I'm saying, like, sometimes these are like unrealistic expectations because, like, no offense, but like, if you and your partner like are working 9 to 5 and maybe y'all have kids and like things like that, there's other factors that come into play that like your life is not exactly like these other people's online. So they're setting a very unrealistic expectation for you and your life. Like,
it's not even the same situation.
It's not the same. Yeah. So I don't want to downplay. I'm not saying that you don't deserve love letters every day. Like, both of you deserve love letters every day, but it's not realistic. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm not trying to be like Debbie the Downer here, but like, just being real. Like, work into your relationship what works for you and your partner's relationship. Like, things that work for y'all. Don't start taking things online and being like, well, my life doesn't look like that and I want it to look like that. So you gotta go because you're not fitting the picture. Like, oh boy. I think lastly, in why I think this is like a dangerous piece of advice or something to follow, is just like, it makes you feel like there's something wrong with you. Because so if I'm saying this is like a me and Devin situation and like he's not writing me love letters every day or whatever, and somebody's like, well, Anita, like if he really wanted to do that for you, he would do that for you, and he's not. Immediately, I'm not thinking something's wrong with Devin. I'm thinking, what is wrong with me that I'm not worthy enough for him to like do that for me? When that's not even the situation at all.
Yeah.
So to me, that's one of the most dangerous parts, because now you start like doubting your self-worth because your partner isn't doing certain things for you. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, and that can just really like eat up someone's self-esteem, and that's just like not good.
Yeah, you should never wrap your self-esteem around the validation of other people.
Yeah, exactly. Even in a relationship, like, I don't know if y'all are really hearing what he's saying, but like, do not attach yourself and your value to the validation of your partner. Like, that's the same thing as like wanting your partner to call you pretty every day or whatever, and if he doesn't, you don't feel pretty. Like, do you know how much
that's
power?
Lame as hell. Like,
well, people really think like that though. I really think that, like, I don't know, something's telling me that I'm speaking to one of you. At least one of you feels this way. Like, and I just want you to like stand up a little bit. Like, you shouldn't be putting that much like power into your partner's hands. I don't like calling it power, but like, you are giving them a lot of control over how you feel about yourself and how you look at yourself. And that's really dangerous. Don't do that. So yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with this statement. So I know I already asked you, but just kind of like breaking down the statement, because it is really just all about like effort. That's really where the ladies are coming from here, is that they just want more effort. So what do you think about the advice of like, well, if he really wanted to put in the effort, he would? Like, as a guy, do you feel that way? Like, if you really wanted to give effort, you would do it? Or it's not that simple? Or like, what do you think on the other side of the equation?
I believe it's doable. Like, it can be done. But like you said, it all depends on the circumstances.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's situation is different, you know. And I don't think that it's fair for someone to have these expectations of like, I guess, giving their self-worth like value. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't depend on me to make you happy. That's really not my job to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think as far as the effort part, like, would it hurt you to do like something small every other day or every day. You know what I mean? Even if it's not nothing major, like maybe cranking the car up in the morning if you know it's cold out and she has to go to the gym or go to work, like little stuff like that. Or, you know, like we talked about the other week, if you get home before your partner or whatever, you know, they've probably had a long day, like unload the dishwasher or do this. Like, it can be something small. It doesn't have to be anything on a grand scale.
Yeah.
But just giving like little extra, you know, reassurances and like little extra, you know, time.
But does that fall in the spectrum of like, so a few of the things that you said, like you actually do, which is why you're able to pull them as examples because you do these things.
Yeah.
So coming from that point of view, like, do you do those things because like you want to, or like where, because that is the whole premise of this phrase is like people watching this, like single ladies, maybe even, I don't want to step on toes, but like maybe even ladies in a relationship, like they would kill for somebody to crank their car up in the morning before they go to the gym.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that. Thank you for doing that. But like, so them are looking at it, would probably say the same thing. Well, man, like if he really wanted to crank my car up in the morning, like he would just do that. He wouldn't let me just go sit in a cold car. So from a guy's point of view, like, do you do that because you want to, or like why do you do these things? Because I think this is where ladies are coming from, of like they stamp it like that because it's like, well, he doesn't really want me if he doesn't do that shit for me. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I do it because I want to. That's I guess one of my forms of showing that I care for you or that I love you or whatever without physically saying it.
Yeah.
Especially if I go out to crank my car up, it just makes sense. Like,
Yeah, you were already doing it anyway.
Yeah, like it would help. You know what I mean? I know that you wouldn't want to get in the cold car because I wouldn't want to go get in the cold car. So like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think it hurts to do like little stuff like that. But yeah, it's because I want to, and because like, you know, I don't know. Like, I don't want it to be a time to where you feel like, you know, I don't do like little stuff like that. So it's just like, so there's no confusion. Like, dude, I do like stuff for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So in that sense, there is validation to the statement. Like, if he really wanted to put in effort into the relationship or into you, he would do it. If he didn't, because this is where,
and sometimes like guys just don't. Sometimes our minds are not wired to just be of service all the time.
You hit the nail on the head of where,
you know what I mean. Like sometimes we just don't think about it.
Yeah.
You know, you come home, and you know there may be dishes in the sink. Like maybe you didn't even go in the kitchen the whole time you were home. Like you just didn't even know they were there.
Yeah.
You know, or you're just not thinking. Maybe you're just drained from work. You're too tired or whatever, and you just kind of want to like relax for a minute. I mean, things happen. Life, bro. Like, we're humans.
Yeah.
You know, we sometimes have moments where we feel like, you know, we can give and we can go do something, whatever. And sometimes we feel like, hey, like, bro, I deserve a break today. Like, I just want to relax.
Yeah.
And, you know, just be to myself or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes we don't always think about it. But that doesn't mean, but because we don't think about it, doesn't mean that we don't
want to.
Yeah, we don't want to, or we don't love our partner or whatever. It's not like that. It's just, it just never crosses our mind. It just doesn't.
I think for some men, and this is not as an excuse, but I really think some men, like you said, like it doesn't come first nature to. I think even, not to put you on the spot, but even now, some examples, like we talked about this when we first started dating, that like the hardest adjustment for you going into a relationship was just like thinking of somebody else, because by nature we're all selfish, you know what I mean? We all put ourselves first, which in a lot of scenarios we should, but it's harder when you're in a relationship, because now things that you're doing, like you have to think about how is my partner gonna feel about this, yada yada yada. So I think even now, even like the nice things that you do, I think both of us slip up in times when we don't do something for the other person, or
Right.
we do something and don't think about how it affects the other person. Like, it just happens. Like, we're not perfect, you know, but what I'm trying to get to is like, that doesn't mean that we don't want to, or that we
Right.
don't love each other. It's just like some things, and this is what I was saying that I liked about effort, is that it's learned. Like, it's things that can be fixed. Like, effort isn't just, it's an action, you know what I mean? Like, it's something that can be worked on. So, like, that doesn't mean that we don't love each other because we forget
Right.
to do something, or we didn't think about the other person necessarily, how they were going to feel and stuff like that, because those are things that can be worked on. So,
Right. It's never like, we never look at it like, oh, I'm definitely not going to go crank Anita's car out because I don't want her to feel like I love her. Like, it's never, because it's never like that, like
Yeah.
purposeful. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To where it's just like out of spite now. Like,
yeah.
no, it's not like, no, I don't want to because I just don't want to. It's never like that. 9 times out of 10, if we're not doing something, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just don't think about it, wrapped up in other stuff, and just
And a lot of
forget.
the times it is that, like, just
Yeah.
busy mind. Like, we're off in space doing other things or whatever.
Yep.
So I feel like I'm like interviewing you here because the guy point of view of this is so interesting to me, because us ladies, when it comes to like women empowerment and things like that, like, we love this statement. Like,
Yep.
we really do, and we stick by it, where it's like, if you really wanted to put in the effort to like be with me and keep me happy or whatever, like, you would do those things. So as far as like dating, when people first start dating or whatever, and the guy's kind of being like wishy-washy, maybe like sometimes he texts her, sometimes he doesn't, sometimes they hang out, sometimes he doesn't. Maybe she's the one having to initiate all of the dates or initiate the conversations and stuff like that. In a situation like that, like if like that was happening to me and I went to one of my girls and was like, I don't know, it feels like he's playing games. Like, sometimes he wants me, sometimes he doesn't. Like, I can't really read him or whatever. I can guarantee you one of them is going to be like, if he really wanted you, like, he would show you and he would do that. From a guy's point of view, do you believe that to be true? Like, in the dating world, like, if you were really pursuing somebody
Yeah.
and you really wanted them, would you be on top of your P's and Q's and like stay on that? Or like,
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I believe in, if you know you can't maintain it, don't start it. So if you know, because usually that's how it starts, and then you know how you want to put your best foot forward. So you're gonna like bring flowers. You know what I mean? Compliment them on what they're wearing on the first few dates or whatever. Like, but it seems like once, you know, saying once you get them or once you have them,
comfortable.
you get comfortable and all that stuff stops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I guess that's when it can come to like, you know, if you wanted to, you would, because you had before. And there was a point in time where you were like getting me flowers, you were cranking my car, you were doing this.
Yeah.
So what happened to it, and like what changed to where like you don't do that anymore, or you feel like you don't have to do that anymore?
So you just asking that is exactly how I feel like a conversation would need to go. Is like, I feel like you were here when we first started, and now we're like a couple years in, and it feels like your effort is just like kind of here. And it's kind of making me feel like, are you still like, do you like me as much, even more? Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's where the whole like, if he wanted to, he would thing starts to come into play, because like I said, people equate effort with love. Like, if the effort is down here, then they think the love level is also there. So I think that's something to be mindful of, but just something that you said as far as like kind of bringing it up and like, well, I feel like it used to be here, now I kind of feel like we're here. I feel like that's the way to approach it.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing something online and being like, damn, my partner doesn't do that. Actually, he hasn't really done anything for me in a while, and like spiraling and doing like that woman did and divorcing her husband because of an
Just
influencer
crazy.
she's watching online. So that was fun. I kind of wanted to play devil's advocate there and like really get into like the lady's point of view, because I get it. Like, I really, like, I understand where we're coming from on this, because like I said, a lot of us equate effort and love, and like they can equate, but one of my last points on this whole thing that I wanted to dive into that kind of piggybacks on top of that is just like a lot of us equate love and effort, but like relationships are so complex.
Yeah.
Like, these things are not black and white. And you said it earlier that like you feel like the statement kind of generalizes that everybody's loved in the same way, and I 100% agree with you. I think that's a large issue with the statement, is like, it's kind of like what you were saying about the video, where it was like, not everybody, like, you didn't even know that was your love language, or that's not even your love language, and now you're wanting to be desired in that way that that girl online is being desired by her husband, or whatever the case may be. Is like, this is what I was getting at before with the whole comparison thing being dangerous and stuff like that. Like, relationships are just not simple at all. Like, there's so much that goes into them. Like we were talking about earlier, how some days you just forget, okay? And that doesn't make me a shitty person for forgetting to do something for you, or whatever the case may be. Like, that doesn't mean that I love you any less. So I don't know. I think overall the statement to me is like, I get it. I do.
Yeah,
And
that's what I said. I mean, it's understandable.
it is. Like,
It definitely is.
I get it. And unfortunately it happens, in my opinion, don't blame me, but I'm just saying, like, in my opinion, I think unfortunately it happens to women more, to where it's very much one-sided, to where we are putting in the majority of the effort and not getting the same back, which is why this whole movement even started in the first place. Because you don't hear, oh, if she wanted to, she would. Like, you don't hear that. Like, you don't. And don't get me wrong. Like, I don't want to invalidate any men on here, because, like, you may feel like your partner could do more and she's not, or whatever. I'm just saying, like, there's a reason why it's called if he wanted to, he would. Because a lot of the times it is us women. Yeah. It's because, like, it just is that way, unfortunately. Like, women
Always being attacked, fellas.
It's in our nature to be nurturing, catering. Like, that's just a lot of the times, like, that's just how we are. Unfortunately, not all the time. It's not given back. So we've created this movement of like, well, if he really wanted to match you in energy, he would match you in energy. And if not, let him go. But I get it, but I just want to remind y'all that, like, it's so much more complex than that, and, like, it's not always black and white like that. There's a lot of the times there's reasons why he's not doing something, or a certain amount of effort is not being given, and, like, you are okay to, like, dive into that and be like, what's going on? Like, I feel like you were here at some point. Now you're not really. Like, what's going on with that? Like,
just have a conversation.
Like, you totally can, like, fix that, because, like I said, effort can be worked on. Like, that's not a set in stone thing.
Especially if that's something that you know that's what you're wanting, is effort from your partner. Speak up. Say that. Once again, we're not mind readers. It's not our job to be mind readers. Like, vocalize that. Yeah.
Ooh, can I be transparent about a time this showed up in our relationship?
Yeah.
For me, at least. You proposing to me was a big, if he wanted to, he would situation going on in my head. So this was because we talk. Y'all know, like, conversations that we have on here, we very much have in private. So, like, Devin and I talked about getting engaged pretty early into our relationship. I would at least say like a year and some change in. We had already been talking about that. So at some point it was, oh, I want to be engaged before we move in together. And then that didn't happen. And then I was like, well, maybe by like year 2.5, we'll be engaged. And like that didn't happen either, right? So a lot of it was just like, well, if he really wanted to like be engaged with me, like he would figure out how to make it happen or whatever. And I remember us even having a conversation and me telling you, like, I just really feel like if you wanted to make it work, you would figure out how to do that, because since you're not, it's making me feel like you don't want to be engaged and you don't love me. Like, this is a real conversation that we had with each other. And I'm trying to be transparent because I really feel like there's people who have either dealt with this or like you can still be in the healthiest of relationships and still get caught up in something like, oh, if he wanted to, he would type thing. And I remember like taking counsel and like even in my own head being like, well, if he, like I said, like if he really wanted to make it happen, like he would figure it out and stuff like that. But like transparently, he was just like, this is just not like my life situation right now. It's just not allowing me to do this. Like homeboy was working 2 jobs, coming home at like 11:30 from like a second job, eating, going to bed at like midnight, and turning around at 6 a.m. to do it all again the next day. Like, it was just not happening during that time. But I got so caught up in like, if he really wanted to marry me, like he would go through hell and high water to like make it happen, when it's like, you have to be realistic, you have to know your partner. Like, it during that time was just like not it. And like, but this is what I'm saying, it's not a if he wanted to he would. Sometimes you just can't. Or sometimes you got other shit going on. And sometimes like, this is why I keep saying like relationships are complex. Like, you never know what's going on behind closed doors with people. Like, stop trying to make it this black and white, like, oh, if you really love me, you would do X, Y, Z. Like, sometimes your partner just got shit going on. Like, you know what I mean?
It's all about like timing and stuff like that. Like, you all don't propose to men. So it's like, what do you know? Just, the timing just really wasn't right.
There's a lot that goes into it.
It's a lot that goes into it. A lot of things that I think, like women just don't consider.
I 100% agree.
You have the easy part. Cry and say yes. You have the easiest part of the whole entire thing. Yeah.
No, it's like, you have to really think about that. Like, I keep saying complex because like that's exactly what it is. Like, there's so much that goes into these things. And so much that goes into your partner giving effort. Not all of the time is it as simple as cranking up a car. You know what I mean? Like, it is sometimes even as deep as like your partner proposing to you. Like, there's so many things that go into like effort into a relationship that like, one, you need to just be having transparent conversations. Like, the amount of times we talked about getting engaged and having kids and all this stuff, like, we frequently talk about this stuff. These are things that we keep at top of mind just to make sure we're on the same page, we're on the same timing, like, we want the same thing, you know what I mean? Like, and all of that goes into effort. Like, stay on top of having these conversations with your partner. If you really want your partner to put in more effort in certain areas, talk, say things, you know what I mean?
And it makes the transitions easier.
Yeah.
Because like you said, like having these constant conversations with your partner, like, you know where y'all stand. Yeah. In certain areas. And like, it makes you know, well, it makes you realize that you're on the same page or you're not on the same page about something. And, is if there's a conversation that needs to be had to help y'all be on the same page. Yeah.
So, in my opinion, if he wanted to, he would. How I feel about that is like...
lame. Next. Get it out of here.
I think there's small truth to it, as far as just like you said, like some of these things that you do for me is because like you want to and you want to show love and things like that. And that's awesome. But there's so many other things that go into that statement that kind of falsify it, that like, I don't think that's the advice we should be taking from people or going off of. I think you really need to, like, if you're in a relationship, talk and stay in your own lane. Stop looking at comparing yourself to other relationships and comparing your partner to other partners and things like that. Like, stay in your lane. And if you really feel like you want more effort, then talk to your partner. And if you're dating and you feel like somebody else could be putting more effort into you, and you truly feel that, not from looking at other people, not from using others as comparison, like if you truly feel like you deserve better than the person that you're dating is giving you, then make that decision for yourself and try somebody new.
Peace out.
Yeah. Message. Alrighty. I knew we were going to get into that. I knew that was going to happen. So, hope y'all enjoyed that. Let's hop into... do you have any last words on that?
Throw the phrase out, please. It's lame. Y'all just loud and wrong. Just stop.
Everyone hates the phrase.
Loud and wrong.
Tread lightly with the phrase. I'll put it that way. Alrighty, let's hop into the hookup.
Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me. I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me.
Alrighty. I'll be hooking you up this evening. It's a spot that we went to last week sometime. It's like a little a food and beer hall. It's called the Eagle Food and Beer Hall. It's a comfort food restaurant serving Southern comfort food, craft beer, and the blues.
Fire.
It's located on 2120 South Boulevard, Suite 1 in Charlotte, North Carolina. 28203.
Oh, not the zip code.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Y'all got to pull up. Like, really, it was like, we had some things with the, what do we have? The Hush Puppies was crazy with the jalapenos. That was tough. The cornbread was really good. I think I had like a grilled cheese or something like that. Grilled cheese and grits. The grits was A1.
Yeah, it's like I would say it's like an elevated comfort food because they're putting all types of shit in that.
Yeah, bro.
In that food.
All type of spices and stuff. So they know what they're doing, y'all boys. They know what they're doing.
I had their fried drumsticks. Those are fire. They have like this. Devin doesn't think that hot and sweet go together, like hot honey. He didn't really understand.
No, it's just that. Hot honey is kind of like spicy honey is kind of crazy.
It's so good. Like it comes out of like a little syrup pour thing, and it's like spicy honey, and you put it on your fried chicken. So good. So good. And then I had the collards, and then the cornbread. It was really good. Their beer selections
top notch.
Yeah, pretty
solid.
The variety is pretty good.
Yeah, a little bit of everything for everybody.
Yeah. So, yeah, good menu, good vibes. We got to sit at the bar. Our waitress was really nice.
Yeah, she was really nice.
What is it called? The atmosphere, I guess, or the vibes going on in there. Like everything's kind of like dim a little bit, but you have like the natural light from outside. Like you just got a good feel when you sit in there. TV's there to watch the games and stuff. Yeah. So it's like an elevated sports bar almost. Like you can watch sports or whatever, but like it's chill and it's
I guess that's what
dim lights.
I guess that's what a beer hall is.
Oh.
I guess it's like a mature
elevated,
way. Yeah, a mature way to say that.
Yeah.
So that's nice. The Eagle
Yeah, check it out.
Food and beer hall. You can follow them on Instagram. It's the Eagle Charlotte. One word, no spaces, no underscores, just the Eagle Charlotte.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
dope. Check them out.
Again, 2120 South Boulevard, Suite 1, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28203.
Thank you. All right, y'all. We are closing it down. Womp, womp, womp. Are you playing the tiny violin?
No, it's just
Oh.
Cash Money.
Okay. I thought you were doing the sad violin. Yeah, that's all we got for y'all boys. Hope y'all enjoyed. Per usual, if you are watching on YouTube, we've gotten a couple more subscribers, so forgot to tell y'all in the beginning, welcome to the new
What's up, y'all boys?
to the new viewers. Happy to have y'all here. But if you were on the YouTube, subscribe or share the channel with a friend, like and comment, all of those good things. If you are a podcast listener, make sure you follow the show. So on Spotify, that's just the follow button. On Apple, it's the plus button in the top right. That adds the episodes to your library. You can keep up with us, all that good stuff. Speaking of keeping up with us, make sure you follow us on Instagram. That is where all of our podcast updates go.
Tap in.
You'll know if we're putting a vlog up instead of a pod. You'll see all the reels.
That's where all the info is, so you can stay updated.
All the good stuff is there. So that is at LNS, the podcast, on Instagram.
If you want to help us out, continue to hit us up.
Yeah.
And buy us a coffee.
Yes. We haven't mentioned that in a long time, but our link.
Buy me a coffee was lit.
Yeah, our link is still in the bio. All of our links are in a bio. So literally, if you go to the bio and click on the little link button, every link that is associated to us pops up. Our Buy Me a Coffee, our LNS pod playlist is on there. Our TikTok, our Twitter, all of our stuff is in that link. So
y'all got the TikTok lit too. So shout out to y'all, man.
Yes, y'all do blow us up on there. So appreciate y'all. But yeah, stay tuned. Another pod episode coming. Also, as far as guests, because it's been a little minute since we've had a guest. If you are wanting to be a guest or you have a specific topic that you want to come on and talk about in the dating and relationship realm, because we do like to kind of stay on topic with that, come on the show. DM us. If you have our number, text us. Like, we are open. Simple. Yeah, we are open to all the guests. We want to get another guest episode going. So, yeah, hit us up. Stay tuned. Keep in the loop, all that good stuff.
Yep.
And we will catch y'all next Wednesday.
All right, y'all. Be safe.
Oh, my broke nail.